Okay, I know what you're thinking. Tears of the Kingdom's final boss is already amazing. It doesn't need fixing. And I agree. It is an excellent final boss, one of Nintendo's best ever, but it is not a perfect final boss. In this video, I'm going to be going over the many things this boss fight did well, the few things it didn't do so well, and how we can fix those and take this final boss from excellent to perfect. Also, this video will contain spoilers for Tears of the Kingdom's entire story and its ending, so if you haven't fully finished the game, I'd advise you save this video for another day. With that out of the way, let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is something this final boss encounter did very well, which actually has nothing to do with the fight itself, but with what comes before it, and that is the build-up to this battle. So, Ganondorf has been a recurring antagonist in the Zelda series since the 1990s, serving as the embodiment of the Triforce of Power that has reincarnated time and time again, and this is his first appearance in a mainline Zelda game since 2006's Twilight Princess. I wasn't even born yet the last time Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf were all together for a final confrontation. That fact alone created 17 years of build-up. Although Ganondorf is only encountered twice by the player before the final battle, he is talked about a lot by characters throughout the story, and seen in all his glory in Zelda's memories, creating yet more build-up. While many would say that a villain who interacts with the hero more throughout the story is superior, which in many cases it is, Malus, I believe that Ganondorf is a rare case of the sit in my evil lair and wait for the hero to show up villain done right, because there was a relationship established between him and Link, even without much one-on-one interaction. Anyway, this video is about Ganondorf's boss battle, not him as a villain. Other people have videos on that. Ganondorf's appearance in previous Zelda titles as well as in Tears of the Kingdom's story and memories are only half of what makes the build-up to his final confrontation so perfect. The other half lies in the way you reach him in-game. To reach the Demon King, you must dive down into the depths beneath Hyrule Castle, then navigate perilous winding caves and chambers filled with gloom and tough monsters to go lower and lower until you finally reach the deepest point. As you progress, very fitting music plays, becoming more ominous and foreboding the deeper you descend, making sure you know what calamitous evil awaits you at the bottom of this pit of misery. When you finally reach the deepest depth, the Demon King's army appears before you, and the sages make an epic surprise entrance, lending you their power. After you finish playing Hyrule Warriors with Ganondorf's minions in a large-scale battle, the 5 temple bosses appear out of nowhere, and the sages stay behind to take care of them, leaving Link to run ahead and confront the Demon King. We're not even at Ganondorf's room yet, and the hype is already through the roof. The build-up leading up to this moment is about to result in one of the most climactic final battles I've ever seen, not just in video games, but in media in general. The next thing this boss fight does amazingly well is the cutscene you see when you enter Ganondorf's room. I'm gonna play it here so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
How disappointing. This world should be shrouded in darkness, not bathed in insufferable light. All these weak, peace-loving cowards running rampant. It would have been more satisfying to overcome a worthy foe.
Regardless, I will reshape this world as it was meant to be. I will crush any opposition. I will rule. That is what a king must do. Do not look away. You witness a king's revival. And and the birth of his new world.
This cutscene is perfect. Ganondorf lets his thoughts about you, himself, and the world be known in a pre-battle monologue as he transforms into his original Gerudo form. The music that plays when he transforms is a much deeper, more ominous version of the Ganondorf imprisoning theme, letting us know that he's back and ready to tear you apart. He then delivers his best and most famous quote ever: "Do not look away, you witness a king's revival, and the birth of his new world." This entire sequence is just beautiful. Following the opening cutscene, the first phase of the boss battle starts with us going one-on-one with Ganondorf in his Gerudo form. No extra gimmicks, no reinforcements, just a 1v1 melee. He's also able to switch between a sword, spear, club, and even a bow throughout not only this phase, but the second phase as well, which is something I like a lot. Honestly, I have no complaints about this segment of the fight. It serves as a perfect warm-up for the second phase, an appetizer before the entree, if you will. Ganondorf isn't unnecessarily tanky in this phase, but he's far from weak. All his attacks inflict gloom, which I like a lot because it adds another layer of danger that raw healing can't fix. Upon beating Ganondorf's first phase, another cutscene plays, which I'll show you now.
What a feeling. I'd almost forgotten the thrill of battle. That feeling as blood surges in my veins. And I am not even near the limits of my power. Enjoy these final moments. I will be taking far more than your arm this time.
If the opening one wasn't enough, this cutscene takes the boss fight from 100 to 1000 real quick. Seeing Ganondorf's health bar go to the end of the screen and hearing him say, "Enjoy these final moments. I'll be taking far more than your arm this time," let us know that this is not about to be a cakewalk. Now, the gameplay of the second phase is where my first problem comes up. Now, I've just been praising this fight so far, so hopefully you didn't forget what this video was about in the first place. I'm just gonna say it as it is. The gameplay of the second phase, while amazingly designed and excellent as it is not difficult enough. The stages join you at the start of it, and Ganondorf summons 5 phantoms. The phantoms go down a bit easier than I would have liked them to, but that's just a nitpick. One thing I really like about the second phase is Ganondorf's ability to perfect dodge you, and even perfect dodge out of your flurry rushes. He takes this ability you've had since the very beginning, and not only nullifies it, but uses it against you. Whoever at Nintendo had the idea for that needs a big raise. Also, I'm a big fan of how when he does his charge attack, a trail of gloom is left behind. Another thing I like, but could have been improved upon, is his ability to not only gloom your hearts in the second phase, but also straight up delete them. This not only shows you the sheer vastness of his power, but makes sure that no matter how well prepared you thought you were, there's nothing you can do about getting hit by that. However, I wish these attacks were more frequent and took away more hearts. I can only recall being hit by 2 or 3 heart-deleting attacks per fight, each of which only took away 1 heart. This gimmick is great on paper, but could have been executed a lot better. This ties into another complaint of mine, and that's that the gloom he inflicts should be a bit more punishing. Don't get me wrong, I really like what they did with this, but my gripe is that each attack he does, no matter how strong, seems to only inflict 1 heart of gloom, which was very underwhelming. I guess I see why they did it that way in case people had a limited supply of Sunny meals, but it still feels lackluster. It also makes bringing lots of Sunny and Hearty meals to the fight basically a free win, which I don't like. Also, for how long his health bar extended, I wish they gave him a bit more HP. To be fair, I was using a 138 damage Scimitar of the 7 with max attack up, but I think that if the developers wanted that extended health bar to feel like a true additive danger, they could have made him a bit more tanky. The main thing that happened as a result of this that didn't leave the greatest taste in my mouth was that I was expecting a long fight, but ended up with a relatively short one. Okay, I think it's time to move on and talk about the third and final phase of this boss fight. I'm gonna play the intro to the third phase on screen here, and I promise this is the last one.
cast this world into eternal night.
Just like the previous two cutscenes in this fight, this one keeps up the perfection. Ganondorf eating his secret stone and becoming a dragon was not something I anticipated in a million years and had my jaw drop to the floor. The light dragon coming in to fight alongside Link makes for the perfect end to the Saga of the Wild, because we have the incarnations of the Triforce of Courage and Wisdom fighting side by side against the incarnation of the Triforce of Power. This cutscene of the two dragons fighting is also probably the most majestic and cinematic scene in the game. It's a perfect setting accompanied by an epic introduction, only for the Demon Dragon's gameplay itself to be somewhere between mediocre and average for a Zelda boss. Okay, it's better than Dark Beast, but it's still disappointing in the same way as Dark Beast. There's little to no challenge here, and its weak points are big globs of eyes? Really, Nintendo? Eyeballs on its back? The Zelda series already is infamous for its overuse of eyes as a weak spot, but at least they usually put them in places that make sense, like with the Hinox and Frox. But big globs of eyeballs on the dragon's back is just odd. Also, the balls of gloom the dragon constantly spits out aren't a threat at all, which was also a bit disappointing. I got to a point where I deliberately tried to dive into them, and they still missed me. Look, if Nintendo was trying to make a boss fight that was to be purely cinematic and not challenge focused, then they did a great job. But you can have a cinematic and difficult final boss, or at least make the weak points something more unique like crystals, but I guess not. The only thing I did really like about this part was that it gives you the Master Sword if you don't have it, and you have to use it to land the final hit on the Secret Stone. This was really refreshing because in Breath of the Wild, every character went on about, oh, the Master Sword is the key to defeating Ganon, and then they let you beat him without it, and even without the Bow of Light, which was really lame in my opinion. because that just contradicts the whole story. Then in Tears of the Kingdom, all the characters said the same thing, and I was worried that I'd be able to beat Ganondorf without the Master Sword, but I was pleasantly surprised. In all, I think the third phase was the most poorly done gameplay-wise of the 3 phases to this fight, but in terms of visuals, it's absolutely stunning. So, there you have it. That's how Nintendo could fix Tears of the Kingdom's final boss. The reason I put fix in quotation marks in the title is because this fight really doesn't need fixing at all. It's far above average as it is. I kind of just wanted an excuse to gush about how great this boss fight is while also looking at ways it could be improved. I give Ganondorf's final battle in Tears of the Kingdom a solid 9.7 out of 10. I might even go so far as to say this is the best final boss I've ever experienced in a video game. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more Zelda content like this, consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.